Welcome to part 2 of Mind Control from Sigmund Freud to MKULTRA. And if you haven't listened to part 1, I would do that because I'm going to just build right onto it. We left off the last one talking about this made-up term in 1850 called bipolar disorder. So what they use it for is the symptoms of bipolar disorder, which is a severe mental illness, which is with you for all of life and needs to be medicated away, is that you have a flight of ideas. Like you have a lot of ideas, like your mind is racing thoughts, they call it. Your mind's going a mile a minute. You're seeing all these things. The other thing is called delusions of grandeur. Well, they go hand in hand because if you imagine having a million thoughts a minute that are all like correcting something in society, and in a flash of genius is what it actually is, you're like, oh my God, I can solve this societal problem. God just gave me an idea. I'm like a prophet or something. Like whatever you want to call me, like I just figured out how we can solve this problem like easily. Well, what they do is they medicalize it and they make this a bad thing that you do. Oh, well, you have a flight of ideas and delusions of grandeur. No, 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 no. Get back in the box, you little plebe. We don't want your big ideas. You see how convenient it is for the psychiatry and psychology to keep anybody with big ideas that can solve problems in a box, and the rest of the people go on and think it's normal because bipolar disorder is scary. It's a scary word. If you say bipolar disorder or calling somebody bipolar is a class of word in psychological warfare called a curse word. It is a legitimate curse word. And watch, it may come up in your life where you'll, like some of you will watch this video and it will click with you because you'll be same as me, like you're into the same things, MKUltra, all this mind control. Well, I'm giving you an explanation that's not common knowledge, so some of you it'll be new. You'll want to show this to somebody and they'll be like, well, he's bipolar. They put a curse on me, the bipolar curse. Well, all they have to do with one word, they can shut me up. Oh, if anybody else goes, no, don't listen to him, he's bipolar. So they do this with like anti-Semitism. If you start telling the truth and you're like, oh, that's anti-Semitism, racism, homophobia, bigotry, all this stuff, all these things that like when you tell a truth people don't like, they just call you a curse word. It puts a curse on you. If you get the curse of anti-Semitism or bipolar for that matter, people don't hire you. People don't associate with you. They don't want to be seen with you because you're cursed. So bipolar disorder, what they're doing is like psychiatrists are, in biblical terms, they're sorcerers. Because somebody comes in and says, oh my God, I have these ideas, like nobody's listening to me, like my family can't listen to me because, again, it says last time, like Jesus came to tell the truth and look at what society did to him. People don't like the truth because what it does is they have to go out of their comfort zone. So they shoot the messenger. And I didn't write this down, but this is a good point. Do you know where comedians started? They were like court jesters. They had to deliver bad news to the king and they had to try to make him laugh. Otherwise, he would kill the person who told them. And it's like, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Well, when you have bipolar disorder and you have this flight of ideas that they say, you have this moment of clarity. I know because they tell me I have it. And I'm telling you what it really is. I'm like, oh my God, I just see clearly. And then you try to tell people and they all resist you. Well, then in comes the doctor and says, well, he has bipolar disorder. Then everybody says, oh, you're bipolar, you're bipolar, you're bipolar. I don't want to listen. They will shut you up with any means necessary. They're not putting me up on the cross, but they're stuffing drugs in my mouth. And then what happens is, I know from experiences, you go around to people trying to tell them, hey, ease up on the mind control. Like, can't you see what's happening in the country? Like, we're being mind controlled and everybody's like a drone just going to work, getting their feeder pellet, and we're going into extinction. And so people like me pop up, like there's stories that like you normies don't hear. Like during the bombings of London in World War II, it was the so-called crazy people who were out helping people, like keeping society functioning whenever there was atrocities. We're the ones that like normally in normal everyday, we don't function in that everyday society because we look at society differently. We have to. We are the ones that are inoculate society against being driven into, because if we didn't exist, then Klaus Schwab would be your daddy. But we're the ones that for decades have been saying, hey, this is going to happen. Then Klaus Schwab, and we're the conspiracy theorists, they call us. We're like all the bad terms. In a psych ward, we don't care. We just talk openly, and you should hear that. I would love to do a reality show inside a psych ward, but HIPAA laws, they don't want anybody knowing what we say in there. But on the same thing, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, I'm getting off a train of thought, but I want to just finish this. MKUltra was done in psych wards. So they designed the systems that get our thoughts out of our head. They record them into reports that we're not allowed to access. I can't get my own reports of what I've been in there. Are they treating me? Like, shouldn't I have full access to my medical records? I can't know what they're saying about me? No, because they're the secret police. They're reporting it. The government definitely has access to my records. I am definitely on watch lists. You hear what I'm talking about. So what they do is when you have these flight of ideas, like you reach out and it's like, whose fault is it? Well, I'm trying, I can't be calm. Like right now, I'm calmly telling you the story, but I'm not always this calm. When I first get the burst, I learn to control it. And like it does take a lot of time. And I do take the meds to control it, to fit into society long enough till I can wait until the mind control releases that people will listen to me. So what they do is when you can't sleep, I take Haldol and I recommend it to anybody who feels this. If you're ever getting a little nutty and you're like, oh my God, I can solve this, but nobody's listening to me, take 5 or 10 milligrams of Haldol and sleep. You might have to do it 1, 2, 3 days, but you don't have to stay on it for life. When you start to sleep naturally again, you don't need an antipsychotic. For me, they force me to in there. I'm in depression when I'm inside the psych ward because they juice me with like 50. They don't even tell you how much. They give you Haldol and Valium, an injection. They don't tell you how much, and I can't find out how much. Like one time, I know it was like they can give you up to 100 milligrams. It hurts like hell. It's torture. And so the what they do is they say, I need to be on this for life because I can't think as clearly. And so when I go to people and then I start talking, all they want to talk to me about is my meds. I'm cursed. I have this curse on me. I can't fight the mind control until enough people that aren't in my life say, wait a minute, he has a point. Then they go, and then society eases up, at which point people will eventually listen to me. This is how revolutions are staged. I was told this a long time ago by this redneck when he said, this was back like in the 90s. He was like, society will eventually, this is how societies work. Eventually they'll accept the gays, they'll accept the trans, they'll accept everything. He said the last person to accept are the crazy people, because the crazy people see society for what it is, not how everybody else is mind controlled. And eventually people will say, hey, wait, maybe we should listen to that guy shouting at the thing. What does he know that we don't know? And if you ever stop to talk to a homeless person that looks crazy, if you've ever done that, they have insight. I do it often. Like, I don't just give somebody food on the street. I talk to them now and I'm like, hey, what's your story? They give me something in return. They give me insight. And like when you're in the psych ward, there's some homeless people, there's whatever. You don't judge because you're in a psych ward too. And the conversations, like we'll start to have conversations. And then you hug, you're like, oh, I just need a hug. And then there's you can't hug. And we're like, fuck you. You can't tell us, like, we don't have to listen to you here. What are you going to do? Juice me with more drugs? Okay, I don't care. It's freeing inside a psych ward. And then you come out and you realize, like, I don't want to name names, but I've been at someone's house and I was watching them. Like, it was a Friday night and we were watching like a movie. And like, I kept trying to talk to them. And like, they don't get it, but like the one time I said, your house, I said, that's what we do in a psych ward. Like it had flashbacks to a psych ward. Just because you're not in there doesn't mean you're not insane. They only put the people who fight it in there. And so America is mind controlled because of these mixture of drugs and the medicalization of people having thoughts to break it. And what we need to do as a society is start listening, have diversity of thought. Diversity is such a good thing, except of thought. Because if you think like me, you're labeled as an outcast. Somebody can fire me for being bipolar and like there's no recourse. I would rather be called the N-word 1 trillion times than to be called bipolar just once. So anyway, that's part 2. Because bipolar, it's gaslighting. They're making me think I'm crazy when I'm just telling the truth, which is under Geneva Conventions is a form of torture. So anyway, stay tuned for part 3.